So I got to do the new world bosses today. As you guys know, Azuregos and Kazzak came out yesterday. I am a day late, okay, I'm sorry. And before I even got to do them, I went to my community tab, where I always farm for good engagement, and I asked you guys, are the world bosses too easy? Now the results are a little funny because people kinda admit to it. 39% said yes, 13% said no, and 48% said they didn't do it, but they will complain that it's too easy anyway, which is kinda like the way it's always worked. I remember when Sunken Temple came out, a friend of mine was like telling me, man, I cannot play this game anymore, Sunken Temple is too hard, Blizzard is completely crazy, I lost all faith in the company, I am done. And I'm like, but what level are you? And he was like, yeah, I'm 42. People do love having opinions on raids they never did. I don't know, it's like, oh yeah, I watch Monkey News on stream, so I'm pretty freaking hardcore, you know, I think I know what to do. But anyway, about the encounters themselves, we're gonna go over Kazzak first. For both the bosses, they put like this little portal that you go in, and it's like a new zone. It is basically the same as the incursions. You go in and you're in a separate layer that is the same as the nightmares. So it is the zone. For example, you are in the Blasted Lands, but on a separate version, a separate layer of the zone. You're in Azuregos, and the same thing, which actually makes sense in the lore because Azuregos is a nightmare dragon, isn't he? Anyway, I like the technology, it worked very well. I was completely expecting it to be a buggy nightmare, but nope, worked just fine. As a matter of fact, I got a bit of a theory here, because you can kill and farm the mobs. The normal mobs on the zone that were before the whole thing of the instance, they are still on the instance and you can kill them, and it's only to you. So I think somebody out there is gonna figure out like some profitable way of making money doing that. So for Kazzak in particular, we go in. You gotta really be careful with Kazzak, boys, because Kazzak has an aggro range that is absolutely gigantic. As a matter of fact, I ninja pulled them. That's how I know. It took us 2 pulls to do it, and I gotta say I caused the first wipe on it. Sort of. You see, warriors are supposed to be the best boss tank in the game currently, because we are a crit cap and we are crush cap because we have the avoidance cap with shield block. So we should be, on paper, taking the least damage. Now, of course, on paper communism works, and on paper they test the hunter before the Saiyan Scorpion was doing more DPS than 3 hunters together. So what went wrong? It turns out that when Kazzak goes to half HP, he does a soft enrage. He gets a little upset and he starts hitting a little faster. And it turns out that he hits just fast enough that he hits a little over 2.5. You can put shield block on yourself every 5 seconds. It has 2 charges. So if a mob is hitting faster than every 2.5 seconds, every 1 out of 3 hits is gonna go through without having shield block on you. So you are liable as a warrior, because remember guys, warriors are still the last tank that is not immune to crits yet, aside from shield block. So you are liable to get one shot. It doesn't mean that I am guaranteed to die if I get crit. The problem is that I didn't pop a cooldown because I didn't know, so I did die. Now for the second attempt, I actually went out, I popped my shield wall, then I did my last end, you know, I rotated all my cooldowns, rallying cry, and with Thunderclap it was just enough that I didn't, maybe I got lucky, but I didn't get one shot anymore. So if you're a warrior, that's a word of caution for you right there. You better be careful because you can actually die on that fight. Which is a bit of a shame, because I actually got to try out a serious boss tanking situation with a prot warrior, and I gotta tell you, the numbers are completely off the chain. Just so you know, when I did Kazzak, I was missing 2 ranks of Thunder Armor and 1 rank of Shield Slam, and I was still kicking absolute butt. I forgot to go respec, okay? I had the wrong talents every time. I just dinged the other day, you know? I never actually bothered fixing it. Overall, Kazzak is pretty easy, but it is not a complete pushover. You can actually still fail it. You can actually, if your damage is too low, you can probably wipe to it. There is also this mechanic where you get mana burnt and you blow up and you kill the people next to you, so it is not completely brained. You can still very easily wipe to this if you're dumb. Now, the boss I think I got the most to say about is probably gonna be Azuregos. Now, Azuregos is in Ashara. Little ingenious, just a side note, they took like this random pillar out there and they turned it into a portal. Whoever got that idea is an absolute freaking genius. Okay, Blizzard people, I'm gonna give you credit where credit is due. You are a freaking genius. So you go in and the same thing, it is an instance version of Ashara. Now here is where it becomes very problematic, and this is where actually taking less people might help. Azuregos does this thing where he freezes the normal mobs, the trash mobs, we could say, I don't know, the normal mobs that were on the zone, are just roaming around. Azuregos goes and freezes them. Now the problem is that when you're fighting them, for whatever reason, if Azuregos moves or whatever, the mobs are gonna melt out and they're gonna kill you. So you either gotta kill the boss before it to prepare the area around Azuregos, or you are gonna be forced to actually like try to fight Azuregos in a way that will not pull the other mobs. Out of those two methods, I will recommend actually fighting Azuregos away from the mobs, just trying to avoid them mid-fight, because every single time we try to clear the Azuregos trash, somebody actually went out and ninja pulled the boss, and you really do not want to ninja pull Azuregos, because it's gonna breed the entire raid, half the people are gonna be stunned, they are gonna be frozen solid, and that's where the trouble really comes in. Now, Azuregos has some sort of regenerating mechanic, and you can actually hit him for less than he heals for, so you can actually get stuck in a time loop. If too many DPSers die in your raid, you are never gonna kill him, and that's kind of funny. He has a 5-minute enrage timer too, so you might as well get good DPS. Actually, the HP pool of the boss is not that big. We 14-manned it just fine. It just took people to not die anymore. It took us like 3 pulls because the ninja pulls kept scuffing up the pool every single time, including the time we actually killed it. But after that, the fight becomes rather straightforward. You gotta pull Azuregos and you gotta turn him away from the raid, so that way the raid doesn't freaking die. Azuregos does this thing every so often where he's gonna pull the entire raid to him and everybody has to move out of it. And that's a problem because this is also an aggro reset. Now, thanks to the power of actually getting my proper shield slam rank out of the trainer and getting the right talents, it was pretty easy to hold aggro the whole time because I would just shield slam and I would get like a 2k shield slam and I would instantly pull aggro without even taunting him. He is tauntable though, but if you're a tank that doesn't have a lot of snap threat, you probably want to get save your taunt for that time. Do not mess it up. You really don't want to miss aggro. And use your taunt before that reset because one person is gonna die. And once again, if your DPSers start dying, you are gonna get stuck. You're not gonna kill him. But overall, once people stop dying to stuff, once people stop standing in the clip, because he also clips, funnily enough, you cannot stand in the front either. He's a dragon. All dragons clip. I guess that's the joke. No tail swipe though. I think at least he doesn't tail swipe. I didn't see anybody get tail swiped. He also has this debuff that he's gonna throw on people. The one that you really gotta watch out for if you're a rage tank, we're talking a warrior or a bear, is he throws this frost debuff on you that is gonna reduce your weapon swing speed for like 3 times. So like you're gonna swing 3 times slower, and that means you're gonna get no rage, and you are liable to lose aggro on that point. So you gotta have a priest dispelling you or you will die too. But you can get a pretty scuff raid as long as people are doing like 1k DPS, which is not like that hard anymore. You're gonna be fine. I would say neither Azuregos or Kazzak have like a big DPS check or a big tanking check, healing check, whatever. I think the only check is a simple, basic, common sense IQ check. Are you gonna pull the boss when you're not supposed to? Are you gonna stand in front of the boss and die? Are you gonna be low on mana so you're gonna get mana drained and die? Are you gonna die on top of other people so they die? That's the kind of things you gotta think about, but overall I think it's a pretty fair fight. I don't think it should be hard, okay? I'm gonna go on the counterpart of that. These bosses were never supposed to be hard. These bosses were supposed to do with like half the raid fighting other raids trying to steal it from you. When you take away the chaos, the boss is a lot easier than it should be perhaps, because the chaos was the challenge. The boss was never the challenge. And the loot honestly is not even that great. I mean, I got a nice belt, I got an epic belt, it looks kinda cool. It's pretty much the same as the one I had, but it's purple, so yeah. But definitely, like, you really do not want this to be hard for 2 reasons. Honestly, first of all, it shouldn't be hard. This is just like a casual part of the raid for the people that don't actually have the time or drive or whatever to do the full raid every single week. This content is gonna have something for them to do that is like a little challenging, a little fun, something to look forward to a couple times a week. And on the other side, guys, we're supposed to do this twice a week on top of a raid. Can you imagine how much it would suck if this thing took like 3 hours to do for a normal guild and then you had to go to Molten Core? Hell no, man. Like, you can crack this out in 40 minutes if you got a guild and you're organized, and that's absolutely perfect. You can get both bosses and that's done. Nobody wants to see another Sunken Temple again, okay? People are done with that. So yeah, I think they are easy, but I don't think they are too easy. That's a different question. I think they are just fine. And I want to see a lot more of that, okay? I want to see next phase how you put like a no world boss that is kind of easy and fun to do, okay? Maybe put a little twist on it, I don't know, but I like what you're doing, okay? Keep it up. For once I had to say it. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.